Okay, welcome back to the Roast It Yourself podcast brought to you by Coffee Bean Corral and Current Crop Roasting Shop. My name is Stephen Burnett with Coffee Bean Corral in Jackson, Mississippi. And with me, as always, is Catherine Mansell, certified Q grader and director of Current Crop Roasting Shop in New Orleans, Louisiana. Catherine, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm in Jackson. I'm always good.
Doing great.
Yeah.
And we're working on, I'm not going to tell you what we're working on. It's a secret, but I want you to come back and listen. No, she's like, don't dare say anything. I won't. It's exciting. And it will be forthcoming very soon at this point when this thing drops. And so just keep your eyes peeled, your ears open, cupped maybe towards New Orleans for exciting news.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm going to say about that, because we have set aside about 10 minutes, as we do every week, to answer questions from home coffee roasters and professionals alike about roasting, tasting, and most importantly, enjoying coffee. You can send your questions to questions@riypod.com. That's questions@riypod.com to get a nice shout out from us on the show, and of course to get your question answered. Now, this week's question, close to my heart, it's an espresso question, so I was excited, wanted to jump all over it, and here we go. Here we go. Just hold me back if I go too long, okay? This is from John S., who writes, I'm using a Beemore 2000 AB, which is the current model Beemore on the market, and getting a great roast from South American beans. Drip is easy, so pour over, drip coffee, easy. Any tips on extraction? I'm pulling shots on my Expo Bar lever machine, espresso machine, and I enjoy your podcast on YouTube. Thank you very much. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Any tips on extraction? Well, as far as specific to South American beans and the Beemore, I don't think so. The only thing I would say as far as the Beemore goes is that you're going to get with that a longer roast typically for compared to say a fresh roast coffee roaster, which is like a 10-minute quick one. So you're not going to get as much of that like intense like brightness out of it. It's going to be a little more kind of on the chocolatey, nutty side, and you've got a great origin for that out of the gate. So I don't think you have anything to worry about there. That all sounds good. As far as extraction goes, it really depends on the kind of issues you're having with coffee when you're pulling a shot. You can over extract or under extract. We were actually talking about this before. You were telling me about someone asked you about
getting more caffeine for higher pressure.
Yeah, if you increase the pressure on an espresso machine, you get more caffeine. There's the basic rule with extraction is you're taking, pressurized hot water and you're forcing it through this bed of coffee, and you're trying to get the goodies out of there and leave the stuff that nobody wants. That's the goal. Fortunately, most of the really good stuff that you want, the caffeine and the sugars and the acids that make it kind of bright, those are much easier to extract. They break down much more easily under pressure and with hot water, as a solvent. They break down much more quickly than some of the bitter stuff that you don't really want a whole lot of, or especially the kind of woodsy, earthy taste doesn't break down as quickly. And so the question about extraction really has to do with, am I getting out everything that I want out of the coffee, or am I leaving something that's in there behind that I want to get? That's the question. And you haven't told me exactly whether or not you're getting something that's too bright, that's almost sour, or whether you're getting something that's kind of on the bitter side of things. And so without that knowledge, it's going to be hard to tell you exactly what we're doing here. But what I do want to say is kind of go through a way of pulling a shot of espresso and extracting well. On the one hand, the typical rules are 30 seconds per shot in general. And you want an extraction. I usually do like 18 grams in to 36 grams out, like a 1-to-2 ratio. 18 grams of coffee in, 36 grams of espresso back out of that. I guess my number one question is, can you drink the coffee straight up?
Yeah.
If you pull your shot, can you switch that around or stir it? There's controversy there, and drink it. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing we say every single week is it good? So if it's not good, if we go, hey, I'm not really getting the extraction that I want, then we have to break down and go, okay, what is it? Is it like an acidic, really, you've had like a shot of espresso that's like intensely like sour and unpleasant.
Yes.
And sometimes people will confuse that for bitterness, but it pulls on like the bottom of your mouth right here, like just like you've sucked on a sour candy.
Yeah.
If you have that, then you are under extracting your coffee. Usually you're stripping out only the sour flavors. You're leaving behind the bitterness that balances it out. You're not really getting the sugars either that would also help balance that out. So if you're getting that kind of bright, overly sour, like mouth, like lip puckering espresso shot, then what you're doing is you're over extracting, you're under extracting that coffee rather, and you need to make some adjustments. What are some adjustments that you can make? First, you can, if you cannot adjust your pressure, if your pressure is good, like you're getting 9 bar, which is kind of the standard, then go ahead and make your tweak to your grinder to make the coffee a little bit finer so that the water can't go through it as quickly and strip it out. That's thing one. Go a little bit finer, and that will solve that problem for you, or it should. If you take a sip of your coffee and it's just bitter and it's not like you're getting burnt flavor out of the espresso and your roast is good, it's an important one, and your roast is good, then you might need to go coarser on your coffee in order to pull a more even shot. So if you're hitting the right ratio and the right time and the coffee is still off, go by taste and ask yourself the question, like, what am I getting out of this coffee? And I think that's the main thing, because the coffee, as long as the coffee you're putting in your espresso machine is been roasted well, you've let it rest plenty, and it's a good coffee to begin with, which, I mean, South American coffees are great. They're great. Then it's just going to be a matter of tweaking and playing with that extraction. And quite frankly, that's the fun of espresso for me. But we were talking about espresso specifically in New Orleans, and if you're having trouble extracting, it's hard to get a good shot of espresso anyway. Like, we were both of us kind of complaining because we're kind of snobs. I mean, can we say we're snobs? We're snobs a little bit, and it's really hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find a good shot of espresso in a coffee shop. Now, some of them do great. There are some coffee shops that excel at it. We're not going to say that no one knows how to do this in our neck of the woods, but it's more often than not, I think, disappointing. What do you find when you get like coffee at a shop and you go, it's not good? What are you experiencing from that coffee to say this shot is not good?
The sourness.
The sour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why are professional coffee people having a hard time getting that coffee not to be sour?
I don't know.
You're like, I could do it.
I don't know. I hope I could do it.
Yeah, I think part of it too is there is an element in a like third wave coffee where we like our light roasts.
Yeah, that may be what I'm just not used to. That I'm just not used to the lighter roasts as espresso.
Yeah, but they're also harder to get. Like, it's harder to get a good shot on a light roast. I like a light roast espresso, but when I'll bring home coffee, if I have something in the medium dark range, it's just really easy to pull the shot.
Yeah.
It's easy to dial it in. Yeah. It's not hard. It doesn't take a couple shots to get my coffee grinder lined up. My espresso machine's pulling shots beautifully. They look great. They taste great. If I get a light coffee in there, it can require quite a bit of adjustment, and it can change a lot over time.
Yeah.
I found that to be true as well. Maybe it'll be dialed in today, and tomorrow it's like way out of whack. Yeah. So I think it's one of those aim small, miss small situations where if you're trying to hit, if you're trying a very difficult type of coffee, a light roast coffee, to get a good espresso shot out of, or one that's more challenging, it's going to give you bad shots more frequently than an easier roast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, that might be a recommendation right now. It's just, you're in the Bean More. It's easy to get a light and a medium roast out of the Bean More, but maybe push it a little bit. Maybe push it. Yeah, go medium at least. Yeah. And push it a little bit more. And that way you're going to get out of that coffee, it'll be an easier coffee to pull a shot from than, say, a lighter roast coffee.
I will say I've had some pretty good espresso.
That's good. Like, yes. It's just hard to find. Yeah. And it's almost like it's not even a shop. It is the individual barista pulling the shot. Yeah. And sometimes when was the last time they dialed in?
Right.
Did they dial in, 20 minutes ago? Maybe it'll be great. Yeah. But it's so much more. And that's why people don't they'll understand, oh, it's a machine doing the work. No, the work is done on the front end. The work is the prep. The work is making sure the grind is just right. The work is all of that kind of stuff. And if they do it well, I think, the two things that I dislike about it when I get a shot of espresso from somewhere and it's not great, it's the acidity or it's the body.
Yeah.
The body is so thin sometimes.
Yeah.
And to me, and that can be a super light roast thing too. But to me, espresso is supposed to have a substantial mouthfeel.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't have a substantial mouthfeel, it just kind of comes off like a weird, like swallow a tea.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not great.
Yeah.
So I think that's something else. If you're getting that, again, knowing exactly what your extraction is like would help us answer the question some more. But I think what I want to say, just to put a bow on this part of the conversation, is to say that what if you know the problem, you can troubleshoot the answer.
Yeah.
You can find the solution. And so if you're just saying, I don't like the shot, then dig into why you don't like the shot. Is it the body being too thin? Is it just really bitter and you have to add a lot of sugar to it? Is it bitter or is it sour? Find that out. That's really important. People confuse those flavors a lot, especially if they're not familiar with it. But take your next shot of espresso, slowly drink it, and write down everything you think, everything you feel. Do it a mini cupping, basically, right?
Yeah.
And come at it where you're just whatever, colors, whatever thoughts, whatever, write it all down and try and figure out what exactly am I not liking about this shot. Because then that empowers you to ask people like us to go to your local coffee shop and say, hey, I'm getting espresso and it tastes like this. What am I doing wrong? Or go online. There's tons of information on forums and stuff like that. So anyway, make use of your sensory skills and make use of the coffee community at large. That's what I would say about that. Now, anything we need to add to espresso?
Not
You're like, no.
Not for me.
No, it needs to be dark roast, New Orleans espresso. It needs to be able to peel paint. Okay. Thank you so much for the question, John. I hope that is helpful. Now listen, dear listeners, if you have a different perspective on what we said, and there's nothing in coffee, I think, that's more controversial than in espresso advice. People will have their opinions.
Yeah.
And so if you have anything that you want to say, any other chastisements, agreements, whatever, fierce, not fierce, throw them in the comments and let us know what you think, because this makes everybody better when we do that. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. And if you did, please leave us a rating or review on whatever platform you found us on. That helps us to meet more people on that same platform. And it's just a great boon to the coffee world. We like to think we're a boon to the coffee world. So we are excited to watch Roast Yourself podcast continue to grow and reach more people. And we cannot do that without you. Be sure to like and follow our social media accounts for Coffee Bean Corral, Current Crop, and of course the Roast Yourself podcast. Links for that is going to be in the show notes. And I'll tell you what, we also couldn't do this without our coworkers and friends who handle the audio, video, and graphics to make us sound good. At least look like you can see us and sound like you can understand what we're saying. Like we are auditorially legible. Is that a thing? Sure. Yeah. You can hear us and stuff. So thank you guys for doing that for us and making this possible. Remember to send any questions you have about coffee in general or coffee roasting in particular to questions at riypod.com. Otherwise, have a great day and happy roasting.
Thanks, John.